Yeah.
You don't like Morphling. That's what I gathered from.
I dislike Morphling strongly.
But I mean, is Morphling strong enough to actually win this game for Empire?
If there was any hero in Dota that could do it, it would be the Morph. My big concern going into this game for them is that they just don't have a tower push. So you consider EXTREMUM's lineup. They love being ran at. Like, please try us. They've got a Pango, they've got Stonegaze, Puck, etc. So if you're trying to do some sort of lengthy siege onto the tower, you're going to have a bad time. But the Morph is nice because you not only shred towers, but later on, if you get that item advantage, you don't really fear this EXTREMUM lineup too much. And in fact, they don't really have a damn thing to do to you once you acquire BKB.
Well, they already changed things up a little bit here with this bottom lane. Earthshaker went for the offensive Fissure block, meaning the creep wave went into the tower, and so it'll actually push into the Pango, which, let me just say, I've played this matchup a number of times. Never like it. Pango versus Morphling.
No, it's not fun.
Yeah, laning phase is not good for you, but...
Well, it's just, Morph just seems to hit too hard, too early on in the game. Level 3, level 4, you just feel so strong. Gwynblood's in some trouble.
I like this, man. This Earthshaker's making some moves right now. He sets up the bottom lane for success, then immediately goes mid and might just win this lane for him. Even if they don't kill Gwynblood, he's going to have to pop that salve, and he'll still not be max health.
Yeah, he will bring more regen, though. You're okay with this because you didn't have to leave lane. You got a couple creeps tonight, sure, but it just means you spend a salve. And laning in terms of CS is still relatively even. They're doing better up top than I would have expected. Mirana's in some trouble, actually. What? What?
Yeah, I was about to say. There's going to be a pause coming in here. There's no way that he wasn't disconnected. Otherwise, I was just about to charge them with 3-2-2.
Unfortunate.
I was like, why is this man trying to man fight a disruptor?
Yeah, I respect that, though. G, the savvy veteran, he may have noticed he was DC'd, but you collect that first blood.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. I mean, this is a big match. They're trying to still potentially... No, they're not going to the major. But they would like to make sure that they are in the top 6.
Whoa. What do you mean they're not going to the major?
They literally can't go to the major. It's... Wait, I lied.
Yes.
Just kidding. Sorry, I've been watching too much NASA. They could go to the major. They could go to the wild card
absolutely
stage.
could. You didn't
they have a good shot. Huh?
We had an hour-long show talking about how they can make it to the major.
Yeah, and they're the favorite.
Yeah.
In my view, to get to top 3. I was listening. I just lost some of the details.
They're your favorite?
Yeah.
Over AS Monaco Gambit? Over Spirit?
Yeah.
The slight pause betrays you, Kyle. Maybe you're the...
They got a good shot.
Did you mean that they are your favorite in this series?
Yes.
Yes. Wow, that's it is going to be a the next series is going to be against AS Monaco Gambit. So
and that'll be pretty much for the spot.
Yeah, exactly. Unless something crazy happens with one of the other teams, we'll watch that. They very clearly disconnected there, but you know, you got to take them where you can get them. I do always like this matchup of Disruptor versus Mirana. Yeah, Thunderstrike is one of those abilities that allows you to beat most 4 positions.
Yep. I feel like the mini slow made it a better hero at this level. Like perhaps in a pub you won't be able to, or you know, your typical Reddit Herald games, you don't get as many clicks off. But these top tier supports get like 3 or 4 extra attacks just because of that mini slow plus the vision.
Yeah. Well, in which case, why aren't we seeing more of it, Kyle?
I don't know. I think other 5s just give too much value. Like, consider what a Coddle does for you. Disruptor also a bit more dependent on levels and his ultimate in specific. When you consider, let's say, an Earthshaker, who routinely is showing up to team fights like level 8 with a Blink Dagger and single-handedly killing 3 heroes.
I was just checking out who Spirit have yet to play, because I feel like that's another potential contender between EXTREMUM and AS Monaco Gambit, and Spirit still has to play Na'Vi and Unique. Okay. So one series that they should win, but one series that is definitely an uphill battle. As Na'Vi have been incredibly dominant. Haven't really slowed down Shochlo too much. That Earthshaker Fisher did a lot for him, being able to get the solo experience. Nice block in there with the Fisher. Beautiful setup. Eknar does have the cogs. Oh, no. He pulled Shochlo in. Shochlo doesn't attempt to go for the kill, though. Just fights his way through the cogs and wants to get back to lane since the creep wave is pushing into him.
Yeah. That top lane, by the way, is what I like to call an unmitigated disaster. This Medusa has one more CS in comparison to the enemy Mirana. And this is what OD Mirana does to you. Petashara, just watch this, the Q coming out in a second. There it is.
Wow.
And a couple more seconds, he has another one. He doesn't need mana regen because he's got built-in...
Oh, Gwynblind.
Oh.
Chased away there. That was a close call. Had to dissimulate back up to the high ground, but he is not sitting very healthy. So even if that top lane isn't going well for the Medusa,
what?
mid is being...
They picked Medusa into OD. Like,
yeah,
I would have to check win rates and stuff, but I always remember OD as being one of like the hard counters to Medusa.
Yes.
Not as much anymore, I suppose, because of the changes to the ultimate, but
I mean, it's weird. I could see. I think it mostly is better for Medusa because it's mana based now. Petashara is gonna die here, just straight up right click down to death. Nicely done by G to find that opportunity in the first place. Eknar manning up on Chu here, even though he has much less health, relying on the level 2 battery assault to win him the man fight, but Shochlo was coming over, so he had to kind of back away just to make sure. The 4-minute power rune was going over to Gwynblind, a big one, because he was not... Oh, he doesn't have his bottle yet. Never mind. That doesn't help him that much.
No, it doesn't. But it does stop Mellow from grabbing it, so you take the wins so you can get them. I will say, the more Dota I play, the more Dota I watch, the more I think we've got to do something about these 4 through 10 minute runes. Like...
More.
I check
more
bottom,
than
you
when
check
you were
top.
4 weeks ago. You feel even more strongly about this situation because you were ranting and raving about it at the start of the DPC.
We need some sort of Billy Bean Dota personality.
Excuse me? Who's Billy Bean?
Billy Bean, the guy, you never watch Moneyball? Brought statistics
to
baseball? Okay, whatever. You need somebody to Billy Bean it, and just to explain those like high, complex stats, how impactful it is for the team to get the 4-6 8-minute rune. And then you'll see what I see.
Eknar trying to get away here after stealing away the bounty rune. Does a good job of it. He may still die to Shochlo, it looks like, but he's created a lot of space, honestly. This is not that bad. Maybe he can deny himself to... Okay. Thought maybe he would jump into the Ancient Camp. He doesn't, and does die to Shochlo. But honestly, it required so much of their time. I feel like that's well worth it.
It is worth it. I mean, looks like Morph got a free wave and a free wave denied. Unfortunately, hero kills just aren't worth as much as they used to be. And those creep waves just more valuable. Oh, nice. Wait, no. Okay, I thought he got both, but Medusa takes the smaller one.
And the Medusa faring a little bit better. Mellow already level 6 is going to try and get the kill here onto Gwynblind. Actually sees an opportunity to pick up Chu. Instead, pulls him back in with the Remnant right as Eknar completes his TP. Gwynblind, though, is stuck inside the kinetic field. The 5 positions coming into play are going to change everything here, as now they're going to be able to run down Eknar as well. Shochlo showing up to this fight. A beautiful rotation by him. I'm surprised that they were willing to move this many heroes into the mid lane, but hey, it's a siege wagon wave still.
I don't think they got the bottle refill, but it's all good because Mellow will be able to take the bottom rune. I think this is the right decision just because, to your point, Pangolier against Morph bottom, it just gets worse and worse. So look to get involved where you can. But it is a bit concerning because EXTREMUM, you don't really have the ability to kill Morphling until Blink Daggers are online, or he just straight up goes way out of position. And oh my goodness, that's a Meteor Hammer.
Yeah, that's a Meteor Hammer. All right,
my God.
They're going to kill the Medusa.
What a hero.
Straight up rushing the Meteor Hammer, Petashara.
What even is that? Look at his inventory, Cap.
Yeah.
That looks like mine in Valheim. Except he's actually got the ability to do stuff. I just die and have to go find my body.
All right, well, I don't know where to take this, but Medusa will not be going to find his body. He's going to TP somewhere else. He's going to go to the mid lane. Let Puck have a little bit of fun around the map. Mellow is going to show up here, see if he can punish this OD with the coil. I imagine they have enough damage. We'll see. The imprisoment's going to slow things down. Chu actually not in position to be able
running
to...
away.
Yeah.
What is this hero? What even is that? What do you do?
I mean, Kyle, you were the one talking about how, didn't you say that if you know how to deal with an OD early on, then the hero's not that bad? Win rate kind of supports that. Fisher is going to be able to stop that Meteor Hammer, but the arrow, no, it's going to be a little bit too late for that as well. G going to send back Petrishara. It's up to Seiyu to be able to finish off this kill with the low-level Starstorm, and Chu finally able to hit that Aftershock level. Will be able to slow down the Mirana a little bit. Going to back away. Petrishara with just one more spiteful imprisonment before they join the creep wave push.
They were so afraid of that OD chasing forwards. That arrow was a bit off, or I think the puck there dies for certain. There would have been a hammer dropped on top. But end of the day, this is all great for Empire because they're just making space for this Morphling. And you know, overall last pick, he's playing into an Earthshaker. There's going to be some pretty insane timings for Smiling Knight. That E-Blade is going to be super effective against pretty much everybody on the enemy side, with the exception of the Dusa. One interesting fact about Mana Shield is that damage reduced is pre-reduction, so the increase in damage does affect. Hang on. I take back everything that I just said because I don't remember the mechanic enough to explain it anymore.
Okay.
But it used to be why you would pick, you'd get Mask of Madness on Dusa because the damage increase. You know what, Cap, what were you saying?
Okay, so Mana Shield does not keep into mind reductions or amplifications of damage. Therefore, you could go Mask of Madness without being punished.
Correct, because armor, it doesn't, armor, it's, well, yeah, exactly, that's what I was saying, before reduction. So armor, magic resist, like, it doesn't matter in the first place because it's ignoring it when it takes 70% of the damage to your Mana Shield. Does that make sense?
If you say let's roll.
Sure.
Thanks, Cap. He's in the jungle, though, which is not ideal when you consider that the Morphling is jungling while also clearing his bottom wave when desired.
Yeah, no one can really show up to that lane, as can be seen by G here, who shows up for half a second and is immediately forced to limp away, which means he's very unlikely to be able to contest these bounty runes. Smiling Knight with double lifesteal early on just makes it so that this hero is that much harder to deal with.
Possessed Mask is so good on Morphling. It's actually absurd.
Yeah.
The stats, more than a Wraith Band, plus free lifesteal. He's just going to be able to push bot and farm this hard camp as much as he would like. G will hit 6, though, so they should have the ability to make some moves soon.
Yeah, it feels like we described Extremum's lineup as sort of, you know, we want Empire to run into them. Extremum is ready for any sort of fight, but it seems like they're the ones trying to run around and get engagements and are not being rewarded.
That's the trouble with this draft, is that Empire are completely content just extending the laning phase. We'll just chill. We're owning bot, we're owning top, and unfortunately, Extremum, they can't make moves. They need items, they need blinks, they need levels. And you've now got this scenario where, look at their heroes positioning around the map. You have 3 heroes inside their own jungle. You're just not contesting lanes anymore, and I don't really know how you do so in the first place.
So it feels like just yet another game of the DPC where the laning phase ends up becoming the most important factor.
Indeed. Still anybody's game, but I would really like to see Extremum get something done on the map. And same goes for Gwynblade, although I'm really surprised by his item build. Typically, you'll see at least upgraded boots before the Ags. It looks like he's just hard rushing it.
Yeah, no Yules,
no Orchid.
He's going to jump on a G here. Should manage to kill him without any spells going off. So, smoke gank, that is rewarded with a very small kill.
Okay, come on, guys. You got to get that timing down. You're going to take OD Mirana in the second phase. It's one of my favorite combinations. If done right, it's not even possible to phase shift that combination.
Yeah, the beauty of it, that top lane is that Shachlo can't really stay there unless the Earthshaker is sitting behind them, right, ready to stop the Fisher channeling, or the Meteor Hammer channeling.
Yep.
But Petrishara doesn't even necessarily have to use this offensively. He could just farm the neutral hard camp with the Meteor Hammer instead of trying to use it on the Shachlo. So Extremum are just kind of left in a situation where damned if you do, damned if you don't. They leave nobody in this lane, and that tower is going to fall real quickly.
Okay, mid lane. What in the? Echo was burned.
Oh, they're going to try and go for this one. Glimpse back. He isn't going to be able to snap the coil, but he is stuck inside the Static Storm right now. Clockwork just kind of running around in vain. Not really sure what he can do.
This is one of those rare games I'd really like to see Smiling. Oh my god, Shackler took a lot of damage. I want them to get this bot tier 1 tower. I want him to take over Medusa's Ancients. And he's been putting a little too much emphasis, in my view, on just ensuring he farms both hard and easy camp every spawn. Like, he can just hit this tower. Now there's no Disruptor ult. You know, what do you fear?
Sure.
No coil. They get top tower, so all's fair. Perhaps just waiting for that E-Blade, but I wanted to stop this. Do not let Nefrit stack and farm this Ancient camp, because if you look at the net worth, he's actually been gaining on this Morphling, even though Smiling Knight has been utterly and completely uncontested.
Well, he's going to go for it now, but perhaps it is a bit too late as EXTREMUM giving up that top safe lane tower. Going to put a little bit more emphasis on saving bottom instead. They'll just chuck Chu up to the top lane, say, go ahead, take what farm you can get, try and get your Blink Dagger without dying too many times. Fisher going out first. G. He does, if he can get in range, yep, he will manage to stay in range for that last glimpse, say you.
Wow, they get the ward too. Oh, that's such a gift. That's such a huge ward to take out. It was the only real aggressive vision that Radiant had placed thus far. The one they have near bottom Ancients will be fading soon. But yeah, I was loving what Empire had cooking for them originally, but now I'm thinking, you know, okay, well, the laning phase has gone on long enough. It's been 14 minutes. You have a hell of a lead, but if you notice, like, Gwynblood hasn't moved. Morphling hasn't moved, and mid-tower specifically, I would have loved to see them threaten at least a little bit, because now you're in a scenario where EXTREMUM's teamfight is coming online. They've got the levels. Disruptor ult's ready. Puck coil's ready. You're going to have a Blink and Shaker in 500 gold. And that's where all these things change, because suddenly this OD with this itemization, yeah, it's solid in the aggressive footing, but you get blinked on or popped before that BKB, you're just going to die. You don't really have team fight to match on the side of Empire, at least not yet.
Yeah, it does really seem like Empire is skipping over that step you're talking about of slowing down the Medusa, just focusing on the step of getting that first round of big items. The Aghanim Scepter for the Void Spirit, the BKB for the OD, and then Morphling.
Yep.
Finishing up that E-Blade.
I mean, I legit would be mad if I was playing a public game of Dota 2, and I saw the Morphling that I had given an absolute free lane to, farming my own safe jungle. That's my concern here, because now you have E-Blade, sure, but it's like, what, you haven't taken this farm from your enemies. You've just been getting it from your own woods. Like, Medusa doesn't feel any pressure whatsoever, and consider how poor his laning phase started the game.
Yeah, no, Nefrit has certainly just been kind of cycling between that area of the map right there and then going back into the triangle, maybe occasionally showing up to a mid lane when it's needed. Empire are going to go for a bigger smoke now. Let's see if it's too late to make a successful maneuver. They're going to run into G first. Eknart finding the opposing 5 position once again. Goes for the glimpse back with the Static Storm on top. That's going to be a bit of a waste. The E goes down. Shachel, meanwhile, rolling on out onto Petchushar. Petchushar, who'd already used the imprisonment, very exposed here, and very likely, unless, no, maybe the save comes in. Eknart with a huge hit onto Melojul into the back line. They still managed to get a 3-man coil set up with Nefrit popping up Stone Face. They're all getting stoned up together. Can Nefrit finish him off with a little bit of damage that he has right now? He only gets one of them, and now he's on the run, out of mana and out of time. Smiling Knight puts him in the dirt. Triple kill for him, and possibly the quad. No! Chu comes in with a well-timed Blink, able to take out 2 cores potentially. Gwynblood jumps away. Last second is able to get out with 100 HP, so it's just the Morphling that goes down on the Blink reveal, but what a timing from Chu.
I mean, the reason he's not there, that fight goes a bit better for EXTREMUM, but Chu was straight up finishing his Blink, ran back to base, waiting for enough mana to TP. The reason that the Void Spirit survives is because he didn't actually have the mana for Fisher. But you couldn't have, he got it just in time to turn that around, and they get the key kill onto Smiling Knight.
Pressure, not letting up. Petchushar is saying, okay, you've already shown most of your cards. and is going to continue with this Meteor Hammer assault onto the mid lane. Jump in from Eknart, tried to go for the cogs, push into the arrow, but it didn't quite land in time. And now Eknart has sacrificed his life potentially. The imprisonment, well played by Shachlo, driving back onto the imprisonment right as he would pop back out.
And suddenly this game got really hard for Empire. You've now missed that initial timing, and you've got to wait for BKBs if you really want to make plays that will result in 5-on-5s. You can still find some pickoffs here and there, but I'd be a bit concerned. And notice, once again, more stacks being taken by Nefrit. This is the 3rd or 4th time I've seen a doubled Ancient. This is one is tripled. And this is the first time Smiling Knight has hit his own Ancients, so explains a little bit of that net worth disparity between the two heroes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've even seen too much of an attempt to even smoke into that place. I mean, we had the one time where Gwynblade smoked up with Eknart and they ran into G, but they didn't try and, like, put wards down in the triangle. Hell, even just throwing a sentry and blocking the Ancient camp can at least stop one spawn.
Yep, I really would have liked to see them address it. It's fine if you don't want to contest it, but blocking them would have been really nice, or even just stealing them. Like, I would have loved to see Morph, instead of farming his own easy or hard, just take enemy Ancients. As we discussed, that Morbid mask early, he had the neutral mask as well. Like, you don't even take damage. The only thing you fear is a puck and disruptor rotation.
Well, there's still plenty of time for them to right the ship, as this mid tower is going to be dying pretty soon here. If it's not an all-out push, even just a Meteor Hammer backdoor shot, ooh, couldn't get there in time for the deny.
Ags up on the Void Spirit along with an Arcane Rune as well, so pretty big timing. You can see by his net worth he has hurt his ability to scale, but this is a really strong item in terms of how you will contribute to a team fight. Will it be enough is the question. Are they going to look to make something happen with this big spike? Echo back off cooldown.
If you're EXTREMUM, do you go for a play yourself when your abilities are off cooldown, or are you just content with guarding the Medusa as she makes her way back and forth?
I think you're just chilling. I mean, you've seen all 3 of your cores have gone for more selfish itemization. You think, you know, really, that Medusa will be the hyper carry in this game. I think you're comfortable just hanging out.
Mellow Jewel amping himself up for this engagement. Whips himself, runs up into the high ground, immediately jumping onto the 2 supports here, and might just be able to get the kill on Seiyu without much of a response. They managed to take the enemy bounties. Well, G did take that bounty, but it cost him his life. Petrishar able to save himself here with an imprisonment and with the Moonlight Shadow from Seiyu, who bought back in order to make sure that Empire would win this team fight, or at least have a chance. EXTREMUM, though, just retreat back to their triangle.
Yeah. Good decision to cut and run. They all in for the OD there, but there just wasn't enough follow-up. I think Buckson's still on cooldown as well. Seiyu has got to step it up a little bit, though. We've seen a lot of missed arrows, and kind of just gets caught napping there on top of the high ground.
Oh, the Meteor Hammer barely clipping Shachlo as he wanted to get the Rolling Thunder out. Does now. Hits the OD once. Gwynblade's already done so much damage to the puck that he gets taken out by that last Sandy's Eclipse from the OD. He dies in turn to Shachlo, but Smiling Knight, he's on the hunt right now. 2-man Fisher. Good setup. Static Storm onto the poor Morphling, who actually does not have the agility form. Still goes in with the E-Blade, protects himself from the physical damage of the Medusa. Shachlo needs to be careful here. Does have a Yule Scepter, but he's going to land right back into the Remnant and the arrow. Disarm out onto the Nefrit Medusa, so he's not able to do much as Shachlo dies on the low ground, and now G, caught inside of the cogs, will get bounced away. He'll be okay. A scrappy fight between the 2 teams. Ultimately, though, both the carries walk away healthy.
It's got to be a little careful. Glimpse is coming off cooldown, but there's not really anything you can do to kill the Morph, to be fair. In this spot, they need more spells. That fight was taken without Echo, so can't really expect it to go too well for EXTREMUM, but looking at the farm disparity, you know, Medusa is continuing to climb. He'll have that Scotty. There it is. Should make it easier for them to kill Morph. It will do some healing reduction or whatever it's called.
Yep.
I don't know what
you got it.
Because Morph isn't healing. He's technically...
Yeah, he's changing his stats, but it still becomes at a cost with the regeneration reduction. That's what the phrase we're looking for.
Yeah, 40% is actually really significant as well. My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what is Spirit Vessel active? 45%? Yeah. That's really good. Wow. Surprised we don't see more Scotty. You know, I had that realization about Shiva's and how much of a heal reduction that represented, but Scotty is very significant. Kind of tailor-made for the Deuce as well.
Yep.
Survivability to boot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only 22 minutes, and Nefrit's already looking kind of like a mid-game boss. And this game goes on another 5-10. We're going to start getting tier 3 neutral items coming out, which I feel naturally are much better for Medusa than many other heroes. His smokes are going to break here, immediately getting the coil out onto the Void Spirit. The Essence Ring is going to protect him as well as the Imprisonment. Eknard, though, maybe not as lucky, used a hook shot to be able to go to his ally instead. Fisher on top of Gwynblight. He does fall. No matter how many saves they use, there is more disables left in the trunk here for Extremum.
They got to be a little more disciplined, though, with their spell usage. You can kind of see the panic. This is the 3rd or 4th time in a row I've seen just an immediate coil. It's a, oh crap, use all their spells on this guy. And Void Spirit as a target is real tough. You know, in reality, as soon as that defensive Astral comes down, I don't think anybody even needed to do anything other than overlapping with Disruptor ult. But I believe G actually missed the timing on Kinetic Field, and if it weren't for the Fisher, he would have been able to get out in time. So just chill a little, you know? We don't need to use all of our cooldowns on the first person we see. But you can also make the argument that you can. You're a dude. I mean, they popped Stone Gaze when they ran in, but the trouble is, it's that reset. It's a buyback from an Empire core you take out that'll really get you into trouble, because the next fight win will lead to a Roshan, and you don't want to give that away to a Morph.
Hook shot onto the back lines. They're immediately going to jump. Chu, he's dead. Now can they chase Nefrit as well? Actually, maybe not, because Shachlo and Melojewel, they also jump the back line. Weren't able to get a kill out of it, but we're able to disrupt things significantly. Petchuchar really wants this courier, and he's going to regret it. He's forced to pop the BKB, so he'll be okay, but still, all that for a courier, that feels a little silly.
There's the Manta on the Morphling. His BKB timing will be quite formidable, but Roshan will be the objective. Look to see both teams start to play around it.
Oh, nice glimpse back.
Yeah.
Free pickoff. One of those things about Disruptor, you got to be very disciplined in your positioning. You go from offense to backing away like that.
I'd really like to see Extremum utilize more plays like that. Like, hold the big ultimate, so hold up.
Okay. Shachlo, he's going to run right into that Meteor Hammer. Now an arrow on an effort as well. He's going to be chain silenced up as well as Gwynblight tries to jump into some of the heroes there and finish off Shachlo. He's actually now going to get jumped too. Caught by Eknard here. Eknard is just a heat-seeking missile for that Earthshaker. Does manage to put some pressure, but ultimately doesn't have the allies behind him, so he will die, as that's a dieback from him. Now the coil out on a 2. Morphling going to be saved by the Imprisonment, and he has the Strength Morph going on, so he'll be okay, but still, Extremum on the march now, as they no longer need to play defense. They can move out if they want.
Can we get a quick replay of that? It looked like Smiling Knight was just continuing to hit Ancients as this entire engagement began. Like, look, the Morphling is hitting Ancients.
Yeah, and then he starts coming over.
He's just hitting Ancients.
Yeah, no, he's not trying to hit the Medusa at all.
But then we're hooking in.
Yeah, and Eknard sees on full go
He
mode.
bought back.
Yeah, he said, guys, let's do this.
So there's obviously a disconnect here, because Eknard is thinking, you know, divide, like, I'm killing enemy heroes, and his carry is simply not on the same page.
I mean, to be fair, let's do this is a very open phrase. Maybe he thought, you know, yeah, let's hit Ancients. You're right.
But the new neutral items weren't even spawning yet. It's not 27 minutes yet.
Gwynblight, not sure what he can really do to Nefrit, besides casually annoy him. Petchuchar, I mean, they're continuing to kite this Medusa a whole lot. They got to start bringing some allies in. He's going to pop the Stone Gaze here. and look to be able to chase down Gwynblight, who does have another leap away in just one more second. Now the coil goes out. BKB immediately from Petchishara. A Fisher block in. Yule Scepter, the imprisonment is there, though. Shotlow bounces away. Instead goes for Smiling Knight, but a hook in from Eknard. A hook shot that landed on a 2, plus locking down Chu. Chu forced to go for the Echo Slam. Does catch nice 2 heroes with the Static Storm as well. If they can actually kill the Void Spirit, it'd be massive. But does he have the jump away? He does not. Essence Ring is a little bit more, but he's totally out of mana. He does actually have that one last jump, and the Thunder Strike's going to finish him off. Now they just keep on going. Gee, he's got enough mana for one spell, and one spell, you know what it is. It's going to be Glimpse. Grabs Eknard, pulls him back in. A third victim to the team fight as EXTREMUM look for a pause.
This is such a strange game, Cap. There's just it's just both sides a little discombobulated, but that's going to benefit EXTREMUM here because they just have so many easier tools to find kills. You know, you go for the Shaker, he still gets the dunk off Dusal to save herself for a while, but, you know, the OD BKB was used defensively on the side, but Coil was used on just the BKB OD, so I guess they traded spells. But then the defensive Astral, meaning that, you know, your Morph could potentially kill the Dusal with a little bit of help, but everybody else is just distracted. The fight is taking place on 3 screens of space. Just very, very strange game.
Yeah, it felt like somebody made the call that they wanted to go on this Medusa. And I can only assume they made that call because they knew EXTREMUM was split up. But if the enemy team split up, do you really want to be going on the Medusa? Don't you want to pick off some of the other heroes that aren't near the Medusa? It was definitely just seemed like a scramble
they
on
probably
both sides.
Killed the Medusa. G was out of mana, unfortunately, or he would have been able to turn around with his ultimate much earlier in that engagement. Ag's up on Mirana, so if some of these arrows start landing, we're going to see some big damage.
Yeah. And tier 3 items are out as well.
Gotta be careful farming like that, though. If you get an item to drop.
Yeah.
That's my biggest fear whenever I'm nuking waves. Not near them.
Full out butterfly. That is a gigantic pickup for Nefrit. Big damage increase, and now, I mean, we're talking about right-clicking on Ancients. I'm not even sure Smiling Knight wants to try and right-click Nefrit.
I think you keep the Paladin Sword, indeed. That is a hell of an item here for Nefrit. Built-in lifesteal, no problem. And yeah, so far, so good for EXTREMUM. You got to feel confident in the carry matchup. The way this game's playing out, the BKB timings for Empire are gonna have to be sick. You'll have one on Void Spirit in about 1,500 gold, Morphling in about 1,000. So probably gonna see them farm those up before they try to take a big engagement. Would not recommend taking this fight.
Rolling on out with the 2-man coil instantly. Smiling Knight is dead, and Eknard only a heartbeat later. He'll follow him into the grave. Seiyu actually is gonna get run into by Shotlow. But with the Moonlight Shadow still going on for a while. In fact, if anything, Shotlow may be caught here. Can they quickly kill him with a Remnant? The arrow does land, and there's that burst damage you were talking about with the Aghanim Scepter. The rest of EXTREMUM, though, is still doing the Roshan. Not perturbed whatsoever at losing their offlaner. Still willing to take the fight, as you can see, with the Fisher leading out with Static Storm on top. Petchishara forced to use BKB, but that Scotty slow is quite hellish. An arrow off of the imprisonment, nicely timed by Seiyu here. Now, that's going to be a Stone Gaze that's been burnt out. Another round of Fisher is ready to go. Chu waiting for it, throws it out now, off the mark.
Okay, well, that's a buyback on the Morphling. The gold disparity between Morph and Medusa looked close, but keep in mind, we just watched Medusa finish his butterfly. Smiling Knight ran up that hill with 3,500 gold. So he was actually significantly behind, and now that he's bought back, his game feels over, almost.
Yeah, they pretty much have to win this Roshan.
Yeah,
I mean, they bought
right
back
now.
on their carry. Roshan still a little bit low. The 2 smokes going to run into each other, leading off the Fisher. Follow-up stun, but the imprisonment's there. Oh, what a hit from Eknard with a nice hook shot. Grabbing some heroes, is going to be able to bring down Shotlow and Chu with that. Plus G goes into the grave with Smiling Knight, knocking him out with a shotgun. Nefrit is now left alone with buybacks coming in, but his mana is being burned away bit by bit. Petchishara dropping everything he has. This Medusa, though, it might be too big, as Melojewel is able to take down Petchishara, and now with the chain stuns raining in, Smiling Knight cannot stand toe-to-toe to Nefrit, Empire will have to give up on this Roshan.
I don't even know what to say, Cap. Morph hit. Medusa's not dying.
Yeah.
It should have been pretty obvious he wasn't going to die over the initial 10 to 15 seconds of auto attacks. OD Morph are right-clicking into a butterfly. It's not going to be enough, Cap.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Nice buybacks from Chu, but you know, I question the usage of the E-Blade combo as well onto support heroes. If you're going to try and kill this Medusa, you're going to have to use a hell of a lot more than just right clicks.
Okay, well, to be fair, if we can't kill the Medusa, then the E-Blade combo on supports is the right play, right? You kill everybody else around the Medusa, and once she's got nobody left, then maybe you can deal with her. I mean, at this point, they could just back up, right?
Yeah, but like, Chu bought back. Okay, Shaker's coming. Like, they're not even close, Cap.
Yeah.
He's just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that face, you saw that? Like, huh? Like, that is me. I don't know who that was, but that is me right now. That is my face. That is a great expression. I haven't seen acting that good since Groundhog Day.
All right, well, that's a double damage for Nefrit. And
he has BKB now as well. He beat more.
Are they going to try and roll in, grab this? No! He'll jump in. Hector grabs it! Grabs the Aegis away from the Medusa. Gwynplaine does die off the initiation from Mellojoul and the follow-up from Shotch, though. And Eknart, he's certainly going to be dying twice here, as the poor 5 position doesn't really have a way out of this, but still, Mellojoul does manage to hit a nice silence there. Chu whiffs on the Fissure, though. Smiling Knight looking for Chu, wants to turn into that Earthshaker so he can Fissure from afar and keep Nefrit from getting too close to his allies. Just wants to be able to kite him around. Smiling Knight, Smiling Knight, Smiling Knight! What the hell is happening? All right, well, Petrushara, he's going to try and limp away and see if he can make it out. But, I mean, does it really matter if they make it out if their carry is suiciding in over and over and over again?
What? You got what
what? Smiling Knight is a man with a plan, you know? It just wasn't a very good plan.
Look at where his team's not even in the vicinity. His mid hero is dead. They got Aegis. They got the Roche kill. Okay, well. I thought it was March 22nd. It's still February. But, yeah, I don't really know what to say anymore, Cap. 10,000 gold lead for the Dusa. 27-17. I'm trying to, like, find a way here for Empire, but short of replacing their carry player with Ramses in between moments,
yeah,
I think they're in some trouble. They're going to start walking down lanes here on this dire side. We've talked a lot about Earthshaker. There's a reason it's first picked. Yes, Clock is a great answer, but once you reach this phase of the game, it's kind of neutralized. Like the damage output, the stun duration alone makes Shaker just a better hero. The Clock needs to be ahead, dominating him. And Eknart, unfortunately, while he did get the Roche and the Aegis, the net worth is not quite there. And yeah,
I mean,
not all stocks only go up.
Let me just say, Empire, out of everybody, let me just say, Eknart looks like a beast, man.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost. I mean, he has hit some incredibly good hooks for all of these fights. It's just unfair that, like, his hero just cannot have the same impact that Chu has with Earthshaker, because that's what it is. As you can see, Chu making good use of the Fissure walking there multiple times in order to get down cliffs. They're going to be able to find G as he steps a little bit too far ahead. Hook shot that whiffs this time around as Chu stopped and stood still for a moment there. Petrushara goes for the imprisonment. They're trying to help him out. They give him the whip, but he's stuck inside the coil. Not much he could do here without a blink dagger.
Smiling Knight.
Smiling Knight. Well, I mean, Petrushara is very dead. I don't think you need to try and help him. It's only going to potentially cost you your life as well, as now Gwynblide, he starts coming in, E-Blade onto himself. They might be able to get some enough damage. Oh, never mind. Chu hits the Echo Slam, keeps Gwynblide in his place, and Smiling Knight, who thought to save Petrushara, in turn gets his mid laner kill.
And it's just getting out of control. Medusa 25, Split Shot uses modifiers, the Scotty, soon to have a Daedalus. Like, this is going to get nuts. And I love Medusa as a carry concept because, you know, we talked about that one fight where Smiling Knight had to hold gold because he was trying to save for BKB, maybe buyback. Medusa, you don't die, so you just spend all your money. And, oh, we've seen this story before. Or have we?
Stone Gaze trying to get in front of him. Smiling Knight looking to be able to dodge that. Waveform's away. Does still have the Manta. Eknart, though, he got a little bit too close, and that Scotty will tear him a new one. Godlike for Nefrit, as the arrow is going to be blocked by Melojewel. I'm going to say blocked. He saved the Siege Wagon's life. I don't know if it was intended or not, but it does allow them to keep this push going. Petrushara, he's going to have to do a lot here. He's going to have to hit imprisonment after imprisonment. Arrow after arrow, though, will whiff.
I mean, at this point, it's just kind of rudimentary. Yeah, you just push, spam Fissures, eventually find a lockdown. You're going to have Ag's coil up.
2 imprisonments paired with 2 arrows that miss. Petrushara, this time he tries to get close and he's going to be forced to use his BKB as Shotlo threatens him with Rolling Thunder. That's going to be one lane of barracks. They do manage to bring down Melojewel. Popping in, Smiling Knight going agility form. Man fighting up against Nefrit. Nefrit is low on mana. Smiling Knight, though, is even lower on health and needs to be able to waveform away. He's got it coming up, the imprisonment save. And Eknart gets the hit immediately onto Chu, who walks right out of the cogs thanks to the Fissure. Gwynblide, though, he tried to challenge Nefrit. Nefrit, even on no mana, is able to go toe-to-toe. They have to chase him down at this point. They've got to do something. They cannot afford to let this man escape, but Chu just jumps in and still manages to bring down Petrushara. Smiling Knight does not have an Aghanim Scepter, so he doesn't quite have that mobility. Nefrit, TP out, he makes it away. He's able to get out. G putting the Thunder Strike on himself now for that extra bit of movement speed. We'll go ahead and get on out of here.
That was sick. He used it on Dusa in that fight when he turned and just smashed everybody on the high ground. And, I mean, they get racks. Could have been a little dicey, but they do force buybacks. So, you know, all still fair for EXTREMUM here. Just kind of have to keep their composure, make sure that they continue to take fights this 5. We had the Morph BKB online. We finally saw it in that fight. Smiling Knight. Okay, I was... You're making me nervous, man.
Every single time he tries to fight Nefrit, it starts off with him losing half of his health and trying to recover from there. I mean, eventually, if you get the Aghanim Scepter, then, you know, the game's wide open. You turn into the Earthshaker, you start hopping around and stuff. Like, this is, I think, part of their game plan, but...
It just needs that Daedalus, well, MKB first, then the Ags, and then you're in business.
Well, do you need the MKB? Because technically, Enchant Totem gives you True Strike.
True.
Which one are you going to put priority into? Is my question. He's obviously going Aghanim Scepter. What would you go?
It's Ags. Okay. It's the Shaker component that makes the hero seem kind of busted, as many people will tell you. I just point back to that buyback, man. Like, walking up, saving so much gold, but then buying back and not immediately getting massive dividends, like, that just straight up ruins your game as a carry player.
Yeah.
Because that next death as well was almost 2 minutes long. Like, you just can't really recover from that spot. And you can have an Ags on Deuces soon. My God,
yeah, this is very cool. We'll talk about the item builds in a bit here. If the game doesn't flat out end, they're going to try and get a Remnant pullback on this very long imprisonment. They could have pulled them up to the high ground potentially. Another round, arrow's going to land onto him, keeping him in place here, but he is being disabled for years and years and years. A third round of imprisonment. He's running low on mana, but Morphling running low on health again. Is Smiling Knight hit by Shotlo, is immediately dropped pretty low. He's able to turn into the Pango. Not sure if that's what he wants, but Nefrit charging forward with his BKB. Smiling Knight gets caught by the coil. He dies in Pango form, and now Nefrit with no Morphling to threaten him Can just casually run up the high ground, especially Petchishar is going to be taking the Fisher to the face. Gwynblight does manage to kill Shotslow, though, off of that. Can Petchishar get out of here? He's racked up a serious amount of mana. He drops the Sanity's Eclipse. It's not enough to kill anybody. Does do some damage to the puck and to G, but not quite enough to Nefrit. He's still looking at 200 health. Gwynblight going back in, looking to execute the support. Arrow coming out. Oh, just barely off the mark as Nefrit. If they nailed him here, they could certainly still keep chasing with the Old Scepter going out. The Void Remnant going to be tanked by the Medusa to allow the puck to be able to get away, but the silence is still there. Plus the leap. The arrow comes out. The Starstorm from the Aghanim Scepter wasn't quite enough, and Mellow is able to get out. Gwynblight, he watches Nefrit walk away, but I don't think he has the mobility nor the disables to catch up to him.
Man, Gwynblight, he's trying, man. Like, he is actually so far when you consider he rushed Ags. No upgraded boots, just straight up Ags. None of that innate mana regen that you typically see people get early on. He's going to go for an Aether Lens, or Aeon Disc now, which is...
Bounty.
I'd say... What?
I think he just messed up there. I think he lost 500 off of that exchange. I'd have to see the replay again, but I feel like he broke apart his old Arcane Boots and sold that Arcane Booster instead of the second one that he bought. I might be wrong, but...
Okay.
Yeah,
no,
what?
But he never had Arcane Boots.
I mean, he somehow ended up with 2 Arcanes.
You're really going to put him through this? You're going to make...
Yeah, see? He's got...
Okay.
He
sold the one.
No, but one of them, it went into his boots.
Yeah.
Right? Making Arcane Boots, so he had an extra mana booster.
Yeah, but you don't lose gold off that, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
Well,
he was actually fine.
If he used Arcanes, it would have activated it, and you wouldn't be able to disassemble and sell. So as long as he sold the other one. Yeah, he's fine. He had the same gold. Cap, stop. What's wrong with you?
What do you mean, what's wrong with me? I called out a play.
Should be able to shop in private, Cap. We should not go over this man's Google and Amazon purchase history. We don't know what we'll find there, and it's none of our business.
I think, Kyle, you're acting a little nervous because you don't want people to be looking at your shopping history.
That is not what... No.
17,000 net worth, 37 to 24 Extremum in the lead here, but have yet to totally lock down this game. As even if Smiling Knight has struggled to have a good carry performance here, Petchishar and Gwynblight are certainly picking up the slack with their 3 and 2 position. This OD in the late game with the Aghanim Scepter has certainly been a bit of a problem for Extremum.
Yeah. Although I will say, you can see, I suppose this is the trouble with OD, because even after a dominant laning phase, you don't really feel like you're very farmed. 2-7-7, yeah, they're not winning the game, but you would have probably expected more out of such a standout performance. They got that tier 1 top at 10 minutes into the game.
Free Roshan?
Unless Eknart.
He's very, very far away. My man sees it, but he cannot act on it.
Tusa, you wanted to bring up the Aghanim Shard, by the way, the Cold-Blooded? Pretty nice.
Oh, yeah. With all the single target abilities, I guess that's not a bad idea. And then combine that with an Aghanim Scepter, which he was thinking about, might be an interesting play, but to be honest, I feel like you just keep building on damage.
Yep, Swift Blink coming up, love it. Just hit him. They're going to go towards top. At this point, Extremum in a pretty dominating position. They've just got to make sure they keep their composure. Thank you for not teleporting, Mr. Dusa. You don't... If you TP bottom, then you're going to have to push bottom. The enemy side can do the exact same thing they're doing bottom to you top. You need to try and get ahead of the waves, cut creeps, let the more mobile heroes take your dead lane, and just go hit base.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an Aegis, like... You don't need the puck here the moment you get initiated on if you've got that second life. Now he's got that Swift Blink into play here, which will make him honestly terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
That extra attack speed. There's going to be so many shots.
It just allows him to capitalize on the Ag's coil on the Fisher so much easier because he just blinks into the center. Everything pops ult. What do you do now?
Yeah. Oh. What does Empire do now? That is the question. It's time to show off the Morphling Aghanim Scepter.
Here we go.
But part of the problem is he's got to actually see the Earthshaker if that's who he wants to turn into, which Chu has been obviously playing it very, very far in the back line. Hell, even Shadow Amuleted up right now, just chilling.
Let's see here. Puck, nothing quite yet. He's got 6,000 gold. I'd love to see him just pick up a Hex, but Daedalus is all right. I just don't know if damage is really going to be an issue at the moment. You just need some sort of control so the Deuce can kill everything.
Yeah, well, you're talking about, you know, just this one big play off of the Dream Coil with him having level 25 Dream Coil Rapid Fire.
That's true.
Between the two of them, are going to be...
oh, yeah, everything dies. If you can coil
wiping it. Yeah.
Just coil two guys.
Okay, and then you throw a Static Storm and Aghanim Static Storm on top of the coil as well. This is going to be a circle of death.
This just feels like you're almost running up the score at this point, Cap. You have so much farm. Like I'm fairly certain EXTREMUM can just go walk up the high ground and start hitting tier 4s if they wanted. And just, you know, if you ever see two heroes in the same vicinity, pop your spells. They're dead.
Well, in order to get Megas, they got to deal with this tier 2 bottom first.
True.
So maybe they're just trying to do it in one big fell swoop, but...
the Vlads, they got all the boxes.
All right, maybe they're waiting for a mistake here as Gwynblind, he's going to pop his head out. The Aeon Disc does protect him, though. Forced to use the BKB as well. That's going to hurt.
Credit to them, though. They're playing safe. You know, I've lost my share of what I thought were 1 games. I think at a point there were only 8 or 9 Mega Creep comebacks in Dota 2. And at a point, I think we were the losing team in 3 of them.
That is an impressive stat.
It is impressive. I'll never forget Carson Dota. We have acquired Megas. Guys, they have Tinker. It's not over. Don't die. Guess what Carson Dota does with no buyback under tier 4s? He does, indeed. And guess what happened to us, Cap?
You guys lost that game, which is what EXTREMUM are hoping to prevent here. A loss on what should be a good, easy win. They're going to jump onto the OD first. Static Storm to be able to follow up the coil. Nefrit holding that Stone Gaze still, ready to go on the second life of the OD as they start backing it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice disengage. Like, you can do this all day.
Okay, Petrishar runs into that Fisher AoE stun. And now with the Scotty slowing him down, don't tell me he's going to die back. The Glimpse is not going to be able to pull him in. Eknard has to jump in. They do manage to kill Melojul, but the Fisher was there to be able to finish off Petrishara. The Smiling Knight looking away from Nefrit. Nefrit is out of mana, and his Aegis time he's going to be a little bit low, but Smiling Knight doesn't have a buyback, and he dies just like that. Kyle, what happened to morphing in his strength? That man went the wrong direction.
He didn't use his ult. He could have shifted into the Shaker. He could have shifted into anybody, really.
All right, well, now Gwynblind's going to have to hold it up on his own, maybe with the help of the Miranda. The arrow comes in, nails Melojul, who did buy back for this fight. 10 seconds on the Aegis. If they could somehow stop his regen, they possibly, conceivably, could stop the push entirely. But Nefrit, if he's smart, will stay out of sight here.
Oh, my God. Oof. Shout out to EXTREMUM. Like, they're playing this in a way that the win is almost guaranteed. Just use abilities, reset. Oh no, not again. G.
They thought the arrow was going to be able to land. G is not going to get popped.
And Deuce is just hitting base.
And Deuce is still making her way through these buildings. So if it's looking like Empire at this point are going to have to play 4 Megas, we're going to watch that fight again. And what happened to Smiling Knight?
He has BKB, Cap. He could just run away. Like, what? He didn't E-Blade, like...
Gwynblind, E-buys back immediately. They're going to try and hold on to the Megas. The arrow did land on a Melojul. That is going to be a dieback. He's dead for 2 minutes. But can Gwynblind get out of this? That damn Fisher. It catches him again and again and again. Eknard, he'll die outside of the tier 4s. They will have a chance to hold here with the OD and the Morphling coming back alive, but it's going to be against Megas.
They have no buyback on Puck, and what does that mean? Everybody at home, if you're ever in this situation, whether you're playing for nothing or a few $1 million, this means you go to base as a team. You have no buyback on one of your big core heroes. You're probably going to win the game. But you might lose, and the only way you do lose is if somehow you take a fight with one hero dead and then don't have buybacks and then they push for throne. This late in the game, even when you're super far ahead, the enemy side will typically have enough damage to kill your base. In this one, maybe not quite as much as the Morphling of Smiling Knight is currently in 6th position in terms of levels. I'm not going to comment on his performance in this game. I think he could do a bit better, and I think in game 2 he'll look to do that. My MVP would be Eknart.
I hope so.
Oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I feel like it would be quite the task to do worse, but Glimpse cooldown now on level 25 Disruptor with that Aghanim Scepter. We've got the Rolling Thunder cooldown for the Pangolier. And casual initiations, that imprisonment might do a lot to be able to protect Smiling Knight here as he's managed to get off the BKB, but it got Stokecase before he waveformed.
Now that was a scenario we should have faced the other direction, Cal.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
And that's it. Yeah,
It's been a
okay.
rough one.
Wrap it up. My goodness. Shout out to EXTREMUM, though. They played this draft about as well as you could hope for. Just kind of chilled. Lanes didn't go great, but they recovered. They defended towers.